Hope you enjoyed that live interview talking all about that Road to Restoration program. Again, that clinic is happening tomorrow. We have a bunch more live guests here joining me now, and this is all talking about a mentorship program for nursing students at Davenport University here in West Michigan. So I am joined by a host of ladies here. Guys, thanks so much for being here with us. We have Ashley, Stephanie, Amanda, and Carrie. And ladies, you all sort of play a different role in this mentorship program. Ashley, you're a nursing student.
Yes.
And ladies, the rest of you tell me sort of what your role is here in this program, if I want to start with you.
I am Ashley's nursing mentor as a DU alumni.
Very cool.
And Carrie and I, along with Cassie Cummings, another faculty at Davenport, have spearheaded the Nurse Mentor program. And we've developed it to support nursing students and connect alumni back to the university.
Yeah, and so this is all about making sure that students like Ashley have people out in the field working as nurses in our community, have someone to connect with, have that sort of real world connection, which is so cool. Ashley, I'll start with you. What has this been like for you in continuing your education and moving out into the real world in this field?
Yeah, so for me, I am a student who joined nursing school later in life. I'm married with children at home, so kind of getting back into that field.
Yeah.
And having Stephanie there and joining this program has been really beneficial because it's hard to kind of make connections with younger students.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice to have somebody who had recently gone through it and could kind of commiserate sometimes, but then also was able to guide me along the way.
And Stephanie, where do you work? What has your experience been like in the nursing field?
Currently, I'm with Trinity Health Grand Rapids. The department I am currently in is part of the surgical team. There's 2 departments in there that I am a clinical supervisor over, but I started my nursing career as an emergency nurse. And so that was only 6 years ago. So yes, it's probably not as short as some might think, but definitely still short enough that I'm able to relate to Ashley. And just like Ashley, I also started late. I was in my 30s going into the nursing program where our class had a mix of right out of high school, and we had people that were in their 40s and 50s. And so being able to relate to Ashley in that regard of it not only with that connection with your other students, but also what does that mean when you kind of are more mature with your personal life as well.
That connection, I'm sure, is so great and so helpful. And for you ladies who sort of spearheaded this program, I know this sort of came from a desire from students to have something like these two have. How did this work kind of getting this off the ground, and what have you seen it do for students in the program?
So we listen to our students. In terms of evaluations and feedback, this was something driven by student request. They needed a different level of support than we as instructors or even family members and friends not in the nursing program would be able to give them. And so we started collaborating and we came up with this idea for the Nurse Mentor program. It was also right after COVID. So a lot of push for additional mental wellness, just additional support that would help students, really getting back into this individualized and peer-to-peer opportunities, these mentorships that would help guide them through school.
Yeah, through a rigorous training program and school and getting out into, the job. And as far as, finding people for students like Ashley to connect with, how does that work? Obviously you're looking for, it's Davenport alum, but as far as kind of picking and choosing people from the community, how does that work?
So we found students first that needed it, and then we started reaching out on social media for recent DU alumni, and we were trying to stay in any range from 2-4 years, whatever was recent, just because they went through the program, they understand. Obviously our students have a lot of academic stress and personal stress, and also the transition from academic to the healthcare it's very stressful. So even thinking about that piece of it too. So then we, on social media, reached out. We actually emailed some people and reached out any contact that we had with them and just started garnering some interest for it. And we were very happily surprised by the amount of the DU alumni that wanted to give back.
And I know the program's kind of been in the works for a little while, not a super long time. How many students, how many mentors have you guys garnered sort of at this point?
Well, we started with a pilot semester, and initially our winter semester in January of 2023, we had 10 partnerships, and we were really excited about 10 partnerships. And then as interest grew, as students talked about the program, as we were able to continue to promote some of our events connected to the mentor program, it's continued to grow each year. This year, this academic year that's just coming to a close has been our biggest one yet. We had 32 participants, so 16 partnerships, and we're projected to have even more starting in the fall.
That is so great. And I mean, Ashley, for you and Stephanie, I mean, how has this worked as far as you guys kind of fostering a relationship as you're through school and you're obviously working out in our community?
Yeah, I remember when Amanda reached out to our class to kind of present this idea, and we got a survey, I think is how it was presented to us, some of our interests, things we would look for in a mentor. And I remember me being an older student, going back, having a family, things like that was really important to me. And so they did a great job finding a partnership that made a lot of sense. And I have other people in my cohort too who are in the program, and they did a really great job partnering them as well. So I think that was a really great thing to have.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like many people could relate to this, moving from schooling in whatever field you're in into the actual job. I know I could totally relate, having those mentors, having people that are already doing the job you're moving into is so helpful, having that support system. Stephanie, how has this been for you? I'm sure it's been beneficial on your end as well to kind of continue to grow as a person and a nurse.
Absolutely. So not only just being able to give back to not only Davenport, but also to a future nurse, right? We are here to help grow those next generation and to build the nursing community. And so that's something that I can give. I can be there for Ashley for whatever she needs, and that might be different day to day, month to month, or even throughout the academic year. It might be, right now I just need texting. It might be, okay, let's, do a phone call. It might be about personal things. It might be about school things. And it's just something that we can connect together because we've been through it or are going through it, and not everybody can do that. Her support system at home doesn't know what the program is like and the rigorousness of it. And so being able to walk through those scenarios and say, yeah, I remember that was tough, right? But here's what helped me, and you'll get through it. Or, Ashley asking, I'm doing this clinical, what are some skills that you would recommend I really hone in on? Well, let's talk about what your goal is. Where do you want to go? Okay, these are skills that you really need to have down because you're going to do them on a daily basis. So really spend extra time working on those at your clinical sites, or really talking with your professors about, okay, what more could I gain from that skill or from that topic? But with all of this, also it's helping me build even more leadership skills, right? By mentoring not only Ashley, but I can take these skills then also to my staff at my workplace. And how can I collaborate with my staff, but also my other colleagues at the hospital? So it definitely is a two-way street.
I love what you both sort of said. You're both helping each other in different ways, and it's nice to have a buddy who's been through what you're going through, who's looking out for you, who can kind of give you those tips and tricks to help you succeed as you move through. For maybe any former Davenport nursing students who are seeing this or who may hear about it and say, hey, I want to do that. What should they know? What should they do to get invested in this program with you guys?
Absolutely. We are always willing to accept more mentors and coach our mentors through what they might have questions about, who they can connect with as a student. We have an email, nursementorprogram@davenport.edu. So any questions can come directly to Carrie and Cassie and I, and we would respond and make the connection.
Very cool. Anything I haven't asked that you guys want to highlight or point out about this?
I think for me, one thing that I was a little trepidatious about before joining it was nursing is just such a demanding program to begin with. Am I going to have enough time to do this? Is there going to be a lot of demand? Am I going to have to keep up, with these two-way conversations and building this whole nother relationship? And the way it was presented was very casual and just really kind of I looked at it as kind of a safety net, just having Stephanie there as someone to relate and to reach out to when you know, your husband or your best friends or things,
Yeah.
they're not fully
They
understanding
don't totally
the
get
grasp.
it. Yeah, and this person gets it.
Yeah.
And the no
cool.
pressure, right?
And no
It's
pressure,
the no
absolutely.
pressure of, you know, I might reach out, and we both went into it with the agreement that, hey, we will respond, right? I'm not ignoring you if it's a day or two, right?
Yeah.
We know that we have outside commitments,
Yeah.
right? But we are always here for each other. And it might be that, you know, the mentorship for another partnership, another group is constantly getting together. It is constantly meeting. It is doing all these things. And ours doesn't have to be, because it's what works for us, and what works for Ashley. I am here for Ashley. I am here for you to support her, right? And so I'm going to cater it to what she needs, and really she's driving the bus on it.
Yeah, like any relationship, it really is what works for you guys, what you're looking for, you know, what you're able to help with, really personalized. You know, maybe
Yes.
someone's texting all day long, maybe they're texting once a week, you know, whatever works for you guys to excel. Awesome. All right, well, ladies, thanks so much for joining us. This is such an incredible, you know, program and helping to propel, you know, nurses here into our community. Again, you can reach out to that email address that you mentioned if you're a mentor in the community watching who would like to be a part of this great program. But best of luck to you, and I hope
Thank
that
you.
your relationship continues to flourish, you know, even after you're done with school and everything. That would be so great. Awesome. Ladies, thanks so much for
Thank
being
you.
here
Thank
on
you.
Evening Plus. We're going to take a brief break, and then Blake is here to talk about that severe weather potential in the next couple of hours. Just give us a minute.